Hey everyone, thanks for coming out. And I always say that to this quick video on being an expert witness. Now, as a lot of students want to study law, now I understand why, because they paid a lot of money to be an expert witness. Why would any court case or any lawyer want an expert witness? Well, you'd be surprised at how much people don't know about your area. Let's say, for example, you study a geographical area like Africa or Latin America. A lot of people don't know what's going on, right? It's not until something explodes like what's currently happening in the Sudan, right? So, moreover, it might be an issue based, like violence, like in the Rittenhouse case, they had experts of violence. And I think it was the Johnny Depp case. They had experts on domestic abuse, or didn't he accuse her of pooping on the bed? Maybe they had a poop expert witness. I don't know. But anyways, in my case, can kind of shed light on what you need to do to be an expert witness, or what you understand the legal implications of having an expert witness. Many people don't know much about Nicaragua. I lived there 8 years. If you're my student, you've heard about it ad nauseum. But so since it exploded, and I was there during these protests, that's what's behind me. There are more immigrants coming from Nicaragua. So I've been called a number of times to be an expert witness. That basically entails, it's pretty interesting, in you laying out the knowledge that's relevant for the case. In this case, an immigration case where I had to strongly suggest that this person, if she or he gets sent back, will be in harm. They could lose their life if they get sent back. What I found really interesting about it is you actually don't need, well, you don't have to be very special, let's say, to be an expert witness. I'm sure a lot of people out there say, oh, I have to be an expert because expert witness. But there are a lot of things you might know about that other people don't. In this case is Nicaragua. I was shocked at how much people don't know about Nicaragua, even with the recent explosion of a migration that's going on. I just recently published an article too on migration from Nicaragua. So it's very, very interesting for me that so many people, even like Latinos working in the legal field, particularly Mexicanos and others, don't know what's going on in Nicaragua. So, like, I was very useful. The other thing, so it might not be that as difficult as you think. You might have a certain knowledge, etc. The other thing that's pretty interesting, I thought, was laying out your case. If you're in the academic world or another world, we all do things in a certain way. So when I publish a peer review, I publish it in a certain way. When I publish something for a think tank, it's a different way, etc. What I found interesting with this is they wanted exhibits: Exhibit 1, Exhibit 2, Exhibit 3, Exhibit 4. So, like, behind me, you see the protest. I said I was at the protest. People got killed. I have friends on both sides, people who support Daniel Ortega, people who don't support Daniel Ortega. So I could say, well, I'm kind of neutral, but this person being involved in journalism will possibly face jail time or even torture if she or he gets sent back. I was at the protest and I saw, etc. So I sent them photos of the protests. The other thing is I laid out my knowledge of the country, as well as evidence, like people who have already been in prison because they were journalists and this person was in the journalistic field. So I found it interesting that you kind of laid out exhibits. And for people who want to study law, they kind of have to understand this because expert witnesses play an important role. I said in tongue in cheek that I kind of a joke about the Depp trial, Johnny Depp trial with what was it, Amanda Heard? I don't know, but they did use expert witness. The same with the Rittenhouse case, etc. So it's very, very important. And if you do a research methods or a statistics class with me, you can actually use your statistical or research knowledge to kind of also build a case. What I thought was interesting about it is you're being paid a lot of money to do these cases. In fact, I was talking to one lawyer and she told me that, wow, we're paying the expert witnesses more than I was getting paid. But, it's not a salary. It's just, a one-time kind of thing. And then I said I would go back and do it for free because I got paid so much. I felt bad taking the money from an immigrant. I didn't know. I thought it was the courts. I'm sorry. I thought it was the lawyer that was paying me. But it ended up being the person seeking asylum who was paying the lawyer. And then through me, part of the money I got, because they give it to the lawyer gets a big chunk, and then they dish out the money to expert witnesses and other things. I thought it was kind of interesting in the fact that I got paid, and they can bring that up. You are kind of cross-examined. You got paid for this, and my argument is, I'm very objective. I have friends on both sides of the aisles, etc., and that journalists are in prison. I could show, the exhibits. So that ended up turning out very, very well. The person is still in the process, but I am going to participate, I think, this summer in order to continue with the case, even pro bono, just for free. But because I don't want him or her sent back. But I think it's a very interesting experience that I had. I used to tell people, there are other things to do with political science than to study, or the social science in general, than to study law. But then I made good money off this. I'm like, maybe you should study law, but only study as a little professional advice. Law, if you know and you have a passion, because there are just so many laws out there. And when I worked as this expert witness, they had a real passion for immigration, immigration cases, etc. So before you jump into law school, which a lot of people do, make sure you know exactly that you have a passion for it, because when you do go to law school, you can't work. They usually don't give much money. You have to take out loans, usually depending on your particular financial stability. So think about it before you do it. But then on the flip side, I like to say it seems to be a pretty lucrative field. And my experience as an expert witness was actually kind of interesting. And you can help people if you are interested more in human rights, immigration, etc. So I hope that's a little helpful in showing what I did for an expert witness. It's not like super exciting, but you do get like flown out to places. You do get to, use your persuasive skills. Lucky I didn't talk too much. The guy probably would have got the death penalty because, I'm not very persuasive. But it's an interesting role. And if you do become a lawyer, even if you do say car accidents, medical malpractice, things like that, you still need people who are experts in the field. And if you do have an expertise, you can use your expertise. Mine is I lived in Latin America so long, I'm getting called on the migration. Will this person be killed if she or he is sent back? What's the conditions of this country, etc. Things that I thought more people would understand, but actually don't, because, in our day-to-day lives, we don't have time to really do research on this. And I have done a lot. So, whether you want to be an expert witness or study law, the expert witness does play, I have learned, a very important role in the legal process. Take care, everyone, and thanks for listening.